my little storm clouds, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are working on the House of Wind. If you don't know what the House of Wind is, it is from the book series ACOTAR, or ACOTAR, Thorns and Roses. Do not recommend this book if you are like under the age of maybe like 16, because there is sexual scenes and stuff like that. So yeah, don't read it if you're too young. But it is a fantastic book series. I do recommend. I hadn't read in such a long time. I read Shadow and Bone last year when I was travelling, and that's sort of what got me back into reading. I saw people talking about this ACOTAR and I was like, let's try it out. And it might not be the most like fantastically written, but I fell in love with it, and it's in my brain almost every single day. And I'm currently reading Throne of Glass. I am doing the tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn currently, and I will most likely do some builds from Throne of Glass as well as some more from ACOTAR. There's certain builds I don't want to do yet until more of the books come out, which I know is not for a long time, but there's not enough details on them. Like specifically the River House, it's only really mentioned in A Court of Silver Flames, and there is like barely any descriptions. There's only really specific rooms, so I don't know the rest of the layout, and my brain cannot, it's like there's foggy areas. I need like the full layout. So that's why the House of Wind was a good one for me to do, because there is a lot of mention of the layout. As well, this is the House of Wind, not the Moonstone Palace. So many people confuse them, and I'm not saying that to like get at anybody, because I confused them when I first read them, and I got really confused when they were like quite different with the description, and I was like, wait, they're not the same place. I looked it up online, yet they're not the same place. They are two different places. A lot of people were saying, oh, it needs to be like white, marble and airy. The House of Wind is not like that. It is built out of a red stone flat-topped mountain. Whereas the Moonstone Palace is built into a snow-capped mountain, and there is a lot of mention of marble, big open areas, but it's still warm because of like magic. Whereas the House of Wind is very dim, has a lot of red stone. I've opted for more of orange stone here because the red just did not look right. I did try it out and it looked really bizarre in The Sims, so I opted for this more orangey hue instead. I also had to do some creative things as well, because there is rooms that aren't mentioned like where they exactly are, so I just put them where I think they could have gone because there was like room there. I decided to start off with the private library, and this is not the library that is found under the house where the priestesses are found. This is the private library of the home where Nesta spends most of her time. Oh, and before I go any further, spoiler alert, there will be spoilers in this because I'm telling you the layout, so who is where. So if you haven't read the last book, just mute me, because I will be giving sort of spoilers, not like massive ones. It is more just because of who is here. Like, you might not even know Nesta is in here at this point because you might only be on the first book. So sorry if I spoiled that for you. Yeah, it says it's a small private library. I don't know why, I just imagined it like 2 stories. So I made it quite big because I saw a few images online with this big massive arch windows of like people's artwork, and it looked amazing. If I remember, I will put some of the artwork on screen that I was inspired by because it's absolutely beautiful. And it says there is a lot of books. I'm pretty sure it said like thousands of scrolls and books and stuff like that. So I was like, it's got to be fairly big for a private library, so I did do it decently large. On top of here is the main dining room. That is the main portion of the build that everybody's always talking about. And I've done a big wide terrace area here, and I decided to make it bigger. I think I ended up doing it 4 doors wide instead, so it does get a little bit bigger. And we know of the dining room that it is accented with a lot of rich woods, so I went ahead and did that. So for the layout wise, what we know of is when Nesta is stood in the dining room, she says she goes 2 floors down. She goes to the right hand side, so the hall down to her room is on the right. It's 2 floors down from the dining room. So that is what I'm working on here, and it is also the same floor as the library. And Elaine's room is off of Nesta's room because they have a suite where it is joined. Later in the books it is said it is closed up, but I've done them with a door so they can walk through. Every room has their own ensuite, and I've done them with like windows, so it's nice and bright in most of them. And I think most of the rooms have like a little sitting area in them and a fireplace. I know in Nesta's room she says she walks in and I believe it's her bed is to the left hand side, and this is when she's looking out towards the wall of windows, and there is like a little sitting area in front of a fire to her right hand side. So I went ahead and did that, and then I just sort of had to play around with Elaine's room to make it work. And with Elaine's room I decided to add some flower touches since she likes gardening. I end up changing this little chess table to a workspace later on because she does mention there is a little desk there looking out onto the cedar, so I do change this later on. And the floors are all made of the stone. There is multiple times that people said like their boots made sound on the stone, but then there is mention of lots of rugs around the place, so I added a lot of rugs as well. Nesta's room has grey velvet curtains, so I made sure to add those, and she has a 4-poster bed. And again, she says lots of rugs covering the stone floor. And I'm pretty sure almost every single room has its own fireplace because the amount of time Nesta asked the house to turn off the fireplace, so I made sure to add fireplaces in all of the rooms. So on the next floor up, so the one down from the dining room but up from Nesta's room, is Cassian and Az's room. And we know this because Cassian says to Nesta, "Oh, I'm on the floor above you," and he says Cassian's room is 2 doors down. And we know the middle room is a little living area that has 4 chairs in it for Cassian, Az, Reese and more. I did all the hallways and stairs to the back of the house because they always say they are dimly lit, so I don't think there's any windows. This is the point where it is like in the mountain side, so you can't see anything, and they're lit by sconces. So I can't remember if I show it or not, on the lowest level the only room that is mentioned is the kitchen and wine cellar. And I ended up doing it that kitchen that is supposed to be down there, but I also did a kitchen on the top floor where the dining room is, just because this is The Sims and it would be an absolute nightmare for your Sims to have to go that far down to make food. And I also did a sitting area on that level as well, just because I was like, what else is on this level? Nothing else is really mentioned. I did a bathroom on that level, again mainly for Sims being able to easily get places because there wasn't a bathroom on that level. I used a lot of these like golden lanterns because it does mention that it is, I'm pretty sure it's golden lanterns. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I did it, so I think I was supposed to do golden lanterns. If you don't know how I got all of these details, I actually sat and went back through all of the books and tabbed every single time a description was mentioned about the House of Wind. I've also started doing it for Hewn City in one of the books. I haven't done them all yet. And I have done it for the cabin. So I will be doing the cabin eventually. That's one of the easier ones because it's quite a small build. I haven't done it for the Moonstone Palace yet because there's not much mentioned with layout wise. So I might just have to get creative with it. I know what it sort of looks like in my head, but where the rooms are, it's really briefly mentioned, like where Feyre's room is, and that's like it. Also with this, we know there is a lot of terraces and balconies, so I made sure to do that. I imagine them personally as quite rounded, so I did a lot of rounded balconies with a few more straight balconies in there as well. Again, that is just what I see in my head, so I just went with what I see in my head. And some people say they picture the windows as quite plain. I tried this and it gave it too much of a modern look, so I did not like it whatsoever. And again, it's something we are limited in The Sims 4 with what we can do with certain things and what items I have. So for the 10,000 steps, so many people were asking me, how did you do the 10,000 steps? Because we don't have spiral staircases, and I wanted to keep it in that rounded tower because it does say she goes round and round down like the spiral, and that makes sense to me. So I did do a tower, but what I did in there was I put a set of ladders going all the way down, and then when it hits the foundation, the ladders had to switch to the outside, just because I have this build so far in the air, and you have to have the foundation there, especially if you're doing 4 levels. Again, it's because I'm limited in The Sims. I wish I could do stuff slightly different, but I just worked with what I had. Other little details that I just wanted to add in. For Cassian's room, I added subtle hints of red throughout his room, and for Az's room, I added a little bit of blue. This room at the end, I think it does change quite a lot, is what Lucian's room is, because it says it's at the opposite end of the house from Elaine and Nesta, so to me if it's at the opposite, it's on the same level, so I put it on the other side of the library. And at one point it mentions that he's stood on a midnight blue carpet or rug, so I made sure to add that in there. And it says it's more of a living area, but I thought, well, he needs a bed. Maybe the house gave him a bed, but I did a little living area in here as well. And unless I've like accidentally missed it because I was skim reading when going through all this, because I didn't have to reread the full thing just yet. I only finished it a couple of months ago. Resahder doesn't have a room, not that I could see, but I still gave him a room anyway because I'm like, it's his house. So I give him a large room, and in the kitchen down at the bottom there is a wine cellar mentioned, so I had to add the wine cellar. And I also added a dining room down here as well. There was just a lot of space because I wanted to make this a really large build because it's supposed to be a really large build. So at this point I ended up doing a lot off camera just because I was trying to fill in all these details. There is still quite a lot of open space. I wish I added more details, but I didn't know what to add. So if you want to add anything, feel free. This will be on the gallery. My gallery ID is StormDesignYT. But that is pretty much it for this build. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!